Well, hello Internet, and welcome to part 19 of my C++ video tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to start a multi-part video series on regular expressions with C++. I'm going to cover searching, assembling matching, iterators, and a whole bunch of different regular expression options and examples. Like always, all the code is available in the description underneath the video, and if you haven't watched any of the previous tutorials, you probably should, otherwise you may be confused, and I have a lot to do, so let's get into it. Okay, so here we are, and this is going to be the library you're going to want to get, that guy right there, and let's just jump right in. Alright, so I'm going to show you two different ways to search through matches in regular expressions, and I trust you know what a regular expression is. So let's just create a string here, and it's just going to be the ape was at the apex. Okay, so we got two sort of versions of ape inside of there. Now, whenever you want to search a string to store your matches, you're going to use smatch. And I'm just going to call this matches, and then I'm going to create a pattern which is going to represent the type of information that I want to find in this string right here. That's what a regular expression is. Okay, so what we do is we go regex, and we are going, I'm just going to call this reg, and then I'm going to describe what I'm looking for. Now specifically what I am looking for is ape followed by anything that is not a space, maybe. Okay, so ape is going to be a match, but I also want to be able to catch apex. So how we describe that is if we say we want anything except a space, you're going to put brackets, caret symbol, put a space, and close the brackets. So that's going to match anything that starts with APE and then is not a space. And then if I want to, on top of that, say that that is not required for it to be a match, I put a question mark. And then I close off the parentheses, and that is how I am looking for it. And I'm going to show you a whole bunch of examples, so if that didn't quite make sense, let's just look at it again. See, what I want to do here is I want to find ape. Okay, and that's the reason why the question mark exists, because I sometimes want to get things that are not spaces, but sometimes not. Without that question mark in there, ape would not have gotten selected. However, I also want to select apex, so that means that I want to look for ape plus something that is not a space and maybe. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a function outside here. I'm going to show you one way to search through our matches and then another way to search through our matches. So I'm just going to call this print matches, and what it's going to do is it's going to receive a string, and then it is also going to receive our regular expression that we are looking for. Okay, now what I want to do is I am going to, you know what, I didn't even need matches down inside of here, so what I'm going to do instead is just pull it out of there, and let's just go and put it right inside of here. And once again, that's just going to be used whenever you're going to be specifically searching for strings, which for the most part is what you're going to do. I also want to show true and false in my standard outputs. So if you don't remember how that is set up, you go standard, bool alpha, because by default all booleans are printed as ones and zeros, and I don't like that. All right, so let's now what we need to do is determine if there is a match, and then go and output said results, and then I'm going to show you a whole bunch of other different little things we can do with our results that we have here. So what we do is we go standard regular expression, and we're going to search for our regular expression in this string. So we're going to first put our string we're looking for. Matches is where all of the matches, if there are any, are going to go. And then we'll have our regular expression. And then inside of the while loop, I can do a whole bunch of things. I'm going to output first whether there is a match or not. And how you find that out, this is a Boolean, of course. And how you're going to find that out is you go matches and followed by ready, and then we'll go and print out a new line, and that's going to print out true or false if there was a match or not. And there's a couple other of these different guys that I'll show you. So we could also say, we could also go are there no matches, which is like the opposite. So I can say are there no matches, so these are always going to return opposite results, ready, and then the other one is going to be empty. So we're checking first, is there a match, and then we're checking if there is empty results. Okay, kind of weird, but you're going to either decide to do one or more of those. And let's see, what else do I want to do? How about we go and show the number of matches? So I'm going to do number of matches. And to get that, let's see if you can guess what it is. It is size. And then I am going to also output the very first match that we have. So to get the first match, you go matches, and then I'm going to work with a string here, and I'm going to say that I want the first one, and then a new line, so it's going to output all that information, and then it's going to also output the match itself. And then what I need to do is I need to eliminate the previous match and create a new version of the string that does not include that match. And to do that, you go matches and suffix, and then this is a string. And why don't we throw a new line in here also, just so we have a little bit more room. Okay, so there we go. There is our whole entire function that is going to output any matches that we see. And then all I need to do is call print matches, and pass in my string and my regular expression and run it. And you're going to see that it goes, is there a match? True. Are there no matches? Comes back as false. Number of matches total is 2. That's not going to change. And then you can see that it found ape and apex. All right, so good stuff. Now what I want to do is I want to show you an additional way using iterators to print out our matches. And I'm just going to leave print matches here, I think, for now. I don't know if I'm going to use it in any of the later tutorials or not. So let's just go, I'll cover that, and then I'll use it. So I'm going to call this print matches and 2, and it's just going to do the same sort of thing. It's going to receive a string, and it is also going to receive the regular expression that we're going to be working with. And the previous example is going to work using an iterator as well. Some people just like one over the other. I just like to show every way of doing just about everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold our first match with this guy. So we're going to go regular expression and iterator, and this is going to be our current match or the first match. And so we're going to go begin with our string. We're going to start with the beginning of our string, obviously, and then we're going to go to the end of our string, and then we're going to pass in our regular expression. Okay, so we have that set up. And what else are we going to do with this? Well, we're going to also need to keep track if there are any more matches. So we're going to go standard xregs, and this is going to be iterator again. And I'm just going to call this last match because whatever, that sounds good. And then while the current match isn't going to be equal to the last one, we're going to continue to output information. So we're going to use a while loop, and we're going to go while the current match is not equal to the last match. We're going to continue cycling through, and we'll go s match, and match is going to be equal to, and we'll go and get our current match that we have here, and then we will output that match. And to do that, we just need to convert it into a string. And to do that, we say match followed by str, and then we can throw a new line in there just to keep things nice and neat. And then we'll also have to cycle, because we are working with iterators, to the next match that we have. And then to keep everything a little bit nice and neat here, let's go and throw in another new line. And there we have it. All right, so now that we have that set up, you can see the differences between, well, I mean, a lot of this is superfluous. We don't, the differences in size. So we could get rid of all of this altogether right there. So you can see the differences in size between the two different ways of doing this. Not much different, but, whatever. Now you know both ways of doing this. So let's come down here and let's go and test it. And to test it, I am going to go and create a string, and let's just create a different string. Let's call it string 2, and I'll say I picked the pickle. All right, and what I want to do here is I want to match for one or more of anything that is not a space. So I'm going to create a regular expression here. And as you work more and more with regular expressions, you'll get better at understanding them. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to say pick, and then I'm going to say that I don't want any spaces. So I put the caret in there with a space, and one or more of this, because look at this, I have 2 letters here. So I want to be able to get one or more. To represent one or more, you put a question mark or a plus sign inside of there. And then you're going to put a question mark saying that we don't know that we're going to need those guys or not. And everything else should be fine as far as I know. And then we're going to test our new print matches. So I'll go print matches 2, string, and regular expression 2, and this is string 2, and we'll call that, and we'll see that it cycles through and gets an error. And the reason why is I typed in last mast instead of last match. I don't know why. All right, so I got that. Let's run it. And you're going to see here, there was another error. Let's go and check and see what it was. Oh, I see what I did. I just need to put a parentheses right there. That parentheses was missing. And save it and run. And now you will see that it both got picked as well as got pickles. All right. And now that I showed you a whole bunch of different ways, or 2 different ways to cycle through matches with regular expressions, I'm going to show you a ton of examples here for the rest of the tutorial. Okay, so I decided to just continue using print matches 2 because it's pretty easy to work with. And I'm going to try to stick with the same type of format. So this is going to be our 3rd example, so let's change that. And what I want to do here is show you how to match one of several different letters. So I'm going to put cat inside of here, rat, mat, fat, and pat. And then for our regular expression down inside of here, I'm going to go and pick all the different things that I would like to match for. So I would like to match for lowercase c, r, m, f, and p, and then the bracket, and then I'm going to put at after that. And then we can change this to 3 and this to 3 like that, and save it and run it. And you're going to see that it matched for rat, mat, pat, and fat. Well, I did it in the wrong order, but you get it. Did not match for cat. Why? Because there's not an uppercase C inside of there. If you did put an uppercase C, it most definitely would have matched for that. Another thing we're going to be able to do is we're going to be able to match characters in a range. Let's just go, I'll just use the same string. I'll just change the regular expression that we are working with here. So let's go like this, and then we'll change this to 4, and then change the regular expression here to 4. And what I want to do is I want to get a range. It's going to be uppercase letter C through uppercase letter F. And you don't have to put spaces or anything. And then you can put lowercase c and F. And you can see how we changed that. And you can see that it matched for cat as well as fat. All right, and let's do another example here. I can also, let's go and show you that I want to match for everything that is not an uppercase letter C or a lowercase letter R. So I'm going to change the regular expression here to 5, and then also change it here for 5. And then if I want to match for anything that is not an uppercase C or R, I use the caret symbol again, and I can run it, and you're going to see that it got mat, fat, and pat. So pretty neat stuff. And now what I want to do is show you how you can replace matches. Okay, so for this one, I'm just going to use the same exact string here, but what I want to basically do is I want to replace matches. Let's say I want to replace for C as well as R, and then I want to define some things that would make for some good owl food. So to replace matches, I'm going to store them inside of a string. I'm going to call this owl food is equal to and standard regular expression. And to replace something, you type regular expression replace, obviously, what I typed. And let's go and change this to 6. The reason why I increment these, even though I don't need to, is so that if somebody copies and pastes the code from my website, everything's going to work. So I'm going to pass in our string and our regular expression. And then I'm going to put in what I want to replace that thing with, which is going to be the word owl. And then I can come in and output said information which is going to be our food, and a new line, of course. And this guy has a whole bunch of things that don't exist, so I'm just going to comment that out and run it. And here you'll be able to see that I went and replaced those specific things that matched with the word owl. All right, so neat stuff. Now I'm going to show you another example where we will be able to match any character. All right, so let's create another string here. And this one is going to have a bunch of letters that have dots inside of them. So we'll do something like f.b.i, and there's another dot there, i.r.s, and CIA. All right, these are 3 very powerful organizations in the United States if you don't know what that is. So what I want to do here is I want to match for everything that is not CIA. So let's come in and let's just get rid of all that. And then I'm going to say that I want to match for something that is not a space, because I don't want, for example, to match for like a dot and then get like this and then miss this dot down here. So I'm going to say that I want to not match for spaces, caret symbol, and then I want to match for a dot. Well, a dot is a special character with regular expressions, so if you want to match for a dot, you have to put a backslash and dot, which is going to be the same as it's called an escape character, okay? And then I'm going to have a real dot, then I'm going to represent a real symbol. So what this guy's going to do here is it's going to match things like F. And then what this guy's going to do is it's going to match the dot. And then this guy right here is going to match the B, which is going to represent any character. All right. And then the next thing I want is another real dot. So I have to put a backslash and a dot there. And then I want anything that is not a dot followed by another real dot. Okay, so that is specifically what I'm looking for. And then we can come in here and we can test to see if it works. And what did I do? Nothing, everything's fine. And you can see that I matched for FBI as well as IRS. So neat stuff. And now on to another example where I'm going to show you how you can match whitespace. Okay, so what I'm going to do this time is I am going to create a string that is going to contain some new lines, and I want to get rid of said new lines. So that is a new line right there, and multi-line string, and then let's throw another new line there, and then let's go and create another one, and that has many lines. All right, so there is our string, and then the regular expression, the thing I want to search for, is going to be a new line. And then I am going to create another string here that is going to have no new lines inside of it. So I want to replace those. I'm going to call this no LB string is equal to, and I'm going to go standard regular expression, replace, and the string I want to work with, as well as the regular expression I want to work with, and what I want to replace the new lines with, which is going to be just a regular old space. And other different, I'm not going to call print matches this time, other different white space characters you can work with, if you're wondering, include all of these: backspace, form, feed, carriage, return, tabs, and vertical tabs. And what are we going to do? Well, we're just going to output the results to see that, yes, indeed, we were able to get rid of those new lines that were originally inside of there. And if we run it, you're going to see that it prints this is a multi-line string that, and let's go and show you the whole thing, has many lines, even though it does not have many lines. All right, so it's a lying little program, but that's okay. Now what I want to do is show you how to match single numbers. Now we're going to have a shortcut, which is going to be a backslash and D. And this is going to be used to match for that guy right there. And we're going to have another one, which is going to be backslash uppercase D, which is the same as if we said that we want anything except a number. So let's go and let's put a number inside of here. Let's say that I wanted to go and grab every single number out of there individually. We're going to create our regular expression, and what we're going to do is we're going to put 2 backslashes inside of there and a D, and just like that, we're going to be able to take that string of numbers and output them one by one. As you work with regular expressions, you're going to see that they are extremely useful. So let's say that we want to match within a range. How would we be able to do that? So let's go and let's get rid of that, and let's go and create another one. So this is going to be string 10, and I'm going to say that I want to go 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and another one. Okay, so let's say that I want to match any of these as long as they have 5 to 7 digits in length. Very easy. I just go in here and put a curly bracket, and I want 5 to 7, and then a closing curly bracket. And that's all I need to do, except change this to 10, and change this to 10, and change this to 10. And that is going to get me every number that is 5 to 7 digits long. And if we run it, you're going to see that yes, indeed it does. So 5, 6, and 7, and it ignores the 1, 2, 3. All right, so neat stuff. And now what I want to do is show you how you can match any single letter or number. All right, so just like we had the decode there that matched digits, we're also going to have a \lowercase w, which is going to be exactly the same as if we had this guy right here and 0 through 9. All right, so it's going to match all those, and then we're going to have an uppercase w, and let's see if you can tell me what that is. And that's going to be the same as if we said we wanted no letters or numbers. So this is going to be a Z, obviously. And there we are. So let's go and test that out. And why don't we test it out with a real world situation like a telephone number. So I'm going to say 412 67. All right, so there is a telephone number. So what we want to do is create a regular expression that is going to match for our telephone number and see if it is a real telephone number. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a W, and we're going to say that we want how many of those? 3. And then we're going to have a dash followed by a certain number of different characters, and we'll throw that in there, and 3 again, and then another dash. We could also put question marks because maybe they don't put the dashes in there. You can play around with these, you know, it's okay for you to go in there, and it's preferred actually. And then a 4, and then like that. And then we can see if it matched for our telephone number. And yes, it did. So there is a way to match for telephone numbers and a way to work with letters as well as numbers, and then within a range. So our examples are getting more and more complicated, and they will continue to do so. And now I want to show you more ways to match whitespace. Okay, so for this one, what we're going to do is you're also going to have \s, which is going to be the same as all of these different whitespace characters that I talked about before. And then take a wild guess what an uppercase S is going to be. It is going to represent everything that is not those things. So the caret symbol we have right there. So we have a name here, and what we want to do now is check if this is a valid name. So we will create a regular expression again. So we know that we're going to have a certain number of letters, and let's say that a name in our world has to be 2 to 20 characters in length. We will define that, and then we're going to say that we want to see a space, 2 backslashes and an S. Then we want to see a certain number of letters, which is going to be 2 to 20 in length once again. And once we have that saved, we can run it. And you can see that this name comes back as yet another valid name and yet another example. Now what I want to do is show you another example of how we can match one or more, and then I'm going to give you a final problem for you to solve. Okay, so for the last one here, what I'm going to do is show you how to match one or more characters. So inside of the string, I'm going to have a, as, ape, and bug. And then I'm going to create a regular expression inside of here. And we're going to say that I want to match for any word that begins with A and then is followed by A through Z, any other letter that we could potentially have. And then I'm going to specifically say that I want to match for one or more specific characters. And then you're going to see the output that we are going to get from this guy. if we save it and run it, and you can see that it matches for as well as ape. As well as ape. See, it doesn't match for A, and of course it doesn't match for bug because bug doesn't begin with the letter A. All right, so there we go. And what I want to do for the last part, I'm going to get rid of this string, is I'm going to give you a problem, and this is the problem. So basically what I want you to do is I want you to pause your screen, and I want you to try to create a regular expression that is going to match email addresses. And more specifically, I want you, we're going to have a list, and here is our sample list that I want your regular expression to work for in regards to matching. And the rules that we are going to set down are that we are first going to have 1 to 20 lowercase and uppercase letters, numbers, plus, or any of these symbols that we see right here. Then we're going to have an @ sign. Then we're going to have 2 to 20 lowercase and uppercase letters, numbers, plus these two symbols that you see right here. Then you're going to have a period, and then you're going to have 2 to 3 lowercase and uppercase letters. So you can pause your screen right now and go ahead and try to figure that out. Otherwise, I'm going to show you how to do it right now. Okay, so what are we going to do here? Well, I'm going to say, I'm just going to look at what we got. So I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to put down some brackets. I'm going to say that I want to match for any number or letter, and then I'm going to also match for any periods, any underscores, percent signs, pluses, or minuses, and then close our bracket. And then I said that I am going to specifically look for 1 to 20. So 1 to 20, and those are inside of curly brackets. Then I'm going to have an @ symbol, and then I'm going to have, whoops, yeah, that's what I want. Any letter or number, dot, or space, and then close off the brackets once again. And there's going to be 2 to 20 of those. Then, whoops, close off the curly brackets. Then I'm going to have yet another dot, which is going to come before the .com, .org, .whatever. Then I'm going to have uppercase. Let's just do it this way, just to show you another different way of doing it. And there we got those like that. And I specifically said that there's going to be 2 to 3 of those guys. And if we save it and run it, is it going to work? Yes, it did. So it disregarded all of the other email addresses that did not match what we were specifically saying could be a viable option, and it found this one right here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that tutorial. It was kind of fun to make. And like always, please leave your questions and comments below. Otherwise, till next time.